All right. Hello, everybody. Happy Saturday. Happy September. Hope everybody is doing great. Welcome to the next Power Hour, and here we are. Thank you for joining. I know with the Labor Day holiday here in the States, we had to do this the second week of September, so I appreciate everybody hanging in there. Next week, or next month, I should say, we will be back to a regular rotation, and the next Power Hour will be on October 7th. Saturday, October 7th. So just be sure to mark your calendars. All right, let's see who is in the house today. J.R. Damon says good morning. Good morning, J.R. Travis Stoll is here. Hello, Travis. TexVet Jeb, good morning from Texas, where it will not reach 100 degrees today. Sounds like an exception to the rule, Jonathan. But yeah, I actually wish I was in Texas right now. I always enjoy getting down to Texas. All right. At least not in the DFW area. Nice. And Hunter. All right, Hunter is in Spain. Nice. So, Hunter, I want to know, is it for business or pleasure? And says he's not doing much this afternoon. We may go out and walk, leaving you guys to spend some time with Mom. Okay. So it sounds like it is for pleasure. Well, thanks for popping in. Glad to see you. And Carla says hi from Arizona, where it's showing a forecast of 111. I was just talking to somebody from Arizona, and they said the same thing. They said it's just like, it's a miracle the pavement just doesn't like melt. All right, Cutweir 3, hello. And Bethany Harris, I remember them Texas days. Howdy from North Carolina. Well, hello. And Timothy, good morning from Minnesota. All right, and Cutweir is from Miami. Deborah, hello again from Massachusetts. And let's see here. Okay. Got a lot of comments, so I'm just going through here. Okay, JR says, I'm from Canada, been living in Arkansas for 4 years now, making a croissant for breakfast. Very nice. I had a concha for breakfast, although it wasn't really a breakfast, but sounds good. Same family, just way more sugar. All right, TexVet Jeb, sipping coffee and working on the outline for the second book of my series. First one is still in edits. Nice. Okay. And Cutweir, what are your guys' thoughts on character dynamics? As in, how should characters interact based on a theme? That's an interesting question, Cutweir. I'm gonna punt that one until after our first session, just because I want to make sure we start on time. But I'm gonna mark your question as a favorite, and then I promise we'll get to that after the first break. All right, because I have some thoughts and some things I want to say that'll probably take a couple minutes. All right, Jocelyn is here. Good morning, Jocelyn. Ty from Colorado. Good to see you, Ty. And DCJ, hello. Amore Suazo, hello. And Cora, hello. So we've got a good crew today. And if anybody is new, please let me know if you're new. I'm going to give my spiel just so that everybody knows and you guys know what to do. So here in a couple minutes, I'm going to put the timer on for 20 minutes, and then we'll write, and then we'll come back, and I'll answer questions, and we'll do that for 3 times. That's why I call it a power hour. It's an opportunity for you to work on whatever is on your desk right now. And yeah, I'm working on book 6 of my Good Necromancer series. I took a break from it for a little while because I had to do some travel. I just got back from New York not long ago. I was at the Writer's Digest conference, and it was kind of hard to get the writing done because I had a lot that I had to do there. This year, I taught an 8-hour seminar with my friend Maddie Dalrymple, which I think you guys know Maddie. She's the host of the Indie Author podcast. And we were preparing a presentation, and it was just a lot going on and all that. So I had to take a little bit of a break. So today will be a good day for me to get back into the swing of things. And I know you guys are working on novels and all that good stuff. And so it's going to be a fun day today, I think. And I changed the theme. So I hope you guys have seen, I've been pretty good about changing the themes of the pictures. So now, we're in fall. I know for a little while you guys were giving me crap because you were still looking at Christmas images in like March. So we're in fall now. So it's all good. So with that, why don't we go ahead and get started with our first session. You guys know what to do. And let's get some music going. And let's have some fun. All right. So let's get those novels done. And we can call today a good day. All right. Let's get started. Okay. Well, how did everybody do? You know the drill. Go ahead and throw in your word count, and then also tell me how you're feeling. How do you feel about your writing session? Because if you feel good about your writing session, then the words are probably good. All right. So I was working on book 6 of my Good Necromancer series. I've got a couple of chapters that I wrote before I took a break that I didn't really get a chance to loop through and, dare I say, edit. So I'm just going through those and just catching myself up to where I was. I just had somebody prominent in the story die, so I got to remember those details. And I also have a lot of character tags that are present in a couple of these chapters. So, like, in every chapter, I've got a main character who's a necromancer. He has an undead servant, and the undead servant kind of takes care of the house, and so he's usually always cooking something, and so have to make sure that those tags are right, and all that. So it's a lot of procedural stuff that I have to do, but I'm making pretty good progress. I'm pretty happy with what I had. So, all right. So while everybody's is putting their word counts in, I want to go back to Cut Weir's question, which is, what are your guys' thoughts on character dynamics, as in how should characters interact based on a theme? Well, I don't know that I would. So it's an interesting question, because when I think about character dynamics, I almost never think about theme. Theme is just something that comes later. It's just something that it happens organically as I write. So really what I focus on more, Cut Weir 3, is I focus on the interaction of characters between themselves and making sure that it's dynamic. And I actually have a YouTube series on creating engaging characters. You can get it at authorlevelup.com/engaging characters. And that will take you to a playlist. I've got about 3 videos in there. They're each about 10 to 20 minutes. And I think it will help. But essentially, I like to think about characters as real people. So I kind of had an epiphany the other day. I was watching some videos on, like, mindfulness, and I was also thinking about a story that I wanted to write, and I was really thinking, the process of writing really is just mindfulness, if you think about it, because let's just say you're writing a story in the first person, right? You write a story in the first person, you are putting yourself inside a character's head, and that character is being mindful of everything that's going on around them. So they have to be mindful of their surroundings, meaning they have to pay attention to what's going on so they don't get killed if you're writing a speculative fiction, or they have to solve a mystery or a murder, that sort of thing. They also have to be aware of the emotions and the actions of the people that they're interacting with, right? And then they also have to be, in a way, mindful of the reader that they're telling the story to, making sure that they're giving the reader information that the reader needs at the exact moment that they need it. So really, anyway, just a long way to say that to write an engaging character, you have to be mindful about that character. And in order to do that, you really have to get inside the character's head, describe what they're seeing through the 5 senses, describe how they are feeling about what's going on, and also describe how they're feeling about what other characters are doing to them, or how other characters are reacting. And that is true of every character you write, whether it's your main character, your supporting character, your villain. If you have a chapter through the perspective of any character, that's how you approach it. And if you do that, that will go a long way to helping you create an engaging character. It will allow readers to just get right into their head, and basically the words just melt away, and they're just hearing the story. So that's where I would start. I would start with that YouTube series, and just remember that character writing is really just an exercise in mindfulness. And if you think about that, I think you'll think about it correctly. Okay. All right. Let's see how everybody did here. Okay. All right. Jonathan says, going well, no word count. edited 2 chapters of the outline. All right. And I see there's another question. I'll get to that here in a minute. Cora, no actual words written, but a lot of prep stuff done. I'll add to word count next session. Nicely done. All right, Travis, getting a lot done. As always, thanks for leading these. Have a different focus during this time together. Awesome. Glad to hear that, Travis. Glad you're making progress. Okay. Oh, hey, Wylan. Hope you're doing okay, my friend. Take care of yourself, all right? Certainly take care of yourself. That's more important than being here. Okay, David says, I picked up a story I haven't worked on in a month, so I had to spend most of the time rereading the unfinished chapter. Okay, that's okay. Hey, that happens. That happens. That's exactly what I'm doing, actually, David. So nothing wrong with that. There's no shame in that game. The key is just to keep yourself on a steady cadence, right? So that you're not reviewing forever. All right, Bethany, I did about 5 paragraphs. Word count is not 40 in my writing, going with the flow. Yeah, just go with the flow, Bethany. That's what it's all about. All right, Deborah, re-editing my chapters. Yeah, everybody sending blessings to Wylan for sure. Wylan will keep you in our thoughts and prayers. Definitely it's concerning, so I hope everything's okay. Okay, Bethany says, I currently have a group of kids who want to commingle for medical school so they can co-work in a field. So each random person working on a project. Okay, that's interesting. Okay, next question, and then we'll get to our next section here. And it's from Michelle. Could you talk about character introduction versus backstory? Okay, yes, I can. And I have a lot of thoughts on that. So actually, I'm going to punt that to after our next session, because otherwise I'm going to start running my mouth. You ask a very interesting question, and there are some differences. So we'll talk about that in our next session. I know I'm a very punty kind of guy today, but I want to make sure we get through our sessions in a timely manner, just so everybody gets their time and their words in. All right, so everybody is doing really good, doing great. So keep it up, and let's go ahead and jump to our second session. Good luck. Okie dokie. We are back. So you guys know the drill. Let me know what your word counts were. And Ty had mentioned, did we do first word count round? I don't think anybody shared word count. So for those of you who were editing before and we're going to move on to words, be sure to share some word counts. Okay, I am still reviewing chapters, but feeling pretty good. I got through 2 so far. Okay, while that is coming in, let's get to Michelle's question. Could you talk about character introduction versus backstory? So, yes. So, character introduction, you have to think, I got to learn how to speak today. So, there are a couple of, when I think about stuff like this, I like to split hairs and kind of categorize and classify stuff. So what is a character introduction? Well, a character introduction is essentially, if you really think about it, 2 things. It is an introduction and a reintroduction. So an introduction is when the reader meets the character for the first time. All right. So the reader has never met the character before. They're meeting them for the first time. The reintroduction is when a character has been off screen and returns. And so you're reintroducing the character, usually through a character tag or something that makes the character unique. And you're reiterating that to help the reader see the character or experience their mannerisms, those sorts of things. So really, an introduction is an introduction and a reintroduction. So the question then becomes, what is the proper way to introduce a character, and then what is the proper way to reintroduce a character. And this is true of every character in your book. So to introduce a character for the first time, you do exactly what I said after the first session, which is you get the reader in their head, you show how the character is experiencing the scene through the 5 senses, you explain the character's opinions about what's happening and also why they're there. That is the best way to introduce a character. And then if you want to look up or look into this, you also want to use at least 1 to 2 character tags. And a tag, as I said before, is a physical trait or a mannerism that makes it easy for readers to distinguish characters between each other. So you have a character that's wearing a Stetson hat, or you have a character that always says ma'am after the end of a sentence or something like that, right? I have cowboys on the brain, I think. But you get the picture. There's something about character A that distinguishes them from character B, all right? That is, in essence, a way to introduce a character. Now, backstory. Now, backstory gets vilified, as someone mentioned in the comments, but there's nothing wrong with backstory. The thing about backstory is that you just have to sprinkle it in. You can't throw 3 pages worth of backstory. There's a time and a place for that, but you definitely don't want to do that when you introduce a character for the first time, generally speaking. So really, if you think about a block of text, let's just say, my hands aren't working today, so just forget I ever did that. But let's just say you got a block of text, okay? And in that block of text, we'll say this is 500 words, okay? Out of that 500 words, let's just say, for the sake of example, that maybe 50 to 75 of those words are backstory. And then you go to the next block of 500 words, and then you give a little bit more backstory in 50 to 75 words, right? And again, don't quote me on that. Just to help you see it, to help you think about it, okay? To show you that backstory really should be sprinkled in. Everything else is the history, opinion, the action, the narrative, and the backstory is just one little piece. And then after you've introduced the character, then when you reintroduce them, you can add a little bit more backstory, okay? So if you think about it like that, you layer it in. That's, I think, the better way to do it. Now, when you are reintroducing a character, the answer, I think, and what has worked well for me, is to lead with a tag. So if the character is wearing that Stetson hat, make that be the first thing that the character or whoever is the viewpoint character sees, okay? Make those tags and just repeat the tags. You don't want to overdo it, but you just want to hammer those tags in and in. That'll make it easier for the reader to remember and distinguish between the different characters. And then when you're also reintroducing the character, you also have to do the 5 senses, history and opinion, and there's other advanced techniques. But I think if you start there, Michelle, I think that is a good start to getting the introductions and the backstories right. Okay. That was a long answer. Travis says, the company that bought licensing rights to my book made edits that I'm not completely happy with. Can you talk about any similar experiences? Well, Travis, the first thing I would say is I would consult your contract and see what you agreed to in terms of editorial. So if they bought licensing rights, it's probably true that they have the final say, but you may have some sort of clause in there that allows you to exercise your opinions and challenge anything that they may have done. Now, I don't know what the contract says, but that would be the first thing that I would do. The second thing that I would do is, even if it's not in the contract, I would approach them in a respectful way and just simply say, hey, listen, I'm not cool with these edits. I think that they don't serve the purpose that we're both ultimately trying to serve here, which is to tell a great story that sells more books. Here's what I would recommend that we do, and come to them with solutions, okay? Give them some bullet points of what you would like to do, and then take it from there. And if you're working with a reasonable person, company, then they should be amenable to that. But that's probably where I would start, Travis, and I wish you luck. Hopefully you get the results you're looking for. Okay. All right, so first up with the word counts tie. First word count was 500, and this round was 100. I had a knock at the door, so I missed a bit. Yeah, nothing like a knock on the door to to distract your word counts. All right. Jonathan, 1 chapter of the outline edited. Nice. Cora, 324. Nicely done. Ingrid, editing a manuscript for a friend. And okay, Michelle says thank you. Awesome. So I think we're doing pretty well. So I'd like to be able to add to my word count today, but I don't know if I'm going to get there. But just getting through the end of what I've edited, I think or into what I've written, I think is a beautiful thing. All right. So we are down to the wire, my friends. I think it's time for a third session, and we'll come back, and you guys know I'll stay on and answer any questions that you have and shoot the breeze. I do want to remind folks that for my Power Hour regulars, you can purchase any book from my website at authorlevelup.com directly, and you can just use the code Power Hour and 15% off, kind of a standing discount, just as my thanks for coming out today. And again, that's authorlevelup.com/books, and you can just use the code Power Hour for 15% off anything. All right. So with that, guys, let's go ahead and jump into the final session. Good luck. Okie dokie. Here we are, guys, at the end of another Power Hour. So let me know, how did you do in your sessions? How many words did you do? What were your accomplishments? If you didn't get any words done, what did you accomplish? And how are you feeling going into the weekend? All right. So I got through about 4 chapters in my book 6 of my Good Necromancer series. And I think I've got about 3, maybe 4 left before I get to the end, and then I can pick up writing again. So I'm looking forward to that because it's not 100 degrees here like it is in Texas, but it's actually 73 degrees today. So I'm looking forward to taking my dog on a long walk and hopefully being able to dictate and get a nice writing session in, assuming I know what's going to happen next, because I literally don't remember where I left off. That's why I had to read all these chapters. But overall, I'm feeling pretty good. So, hey, Travis, thank you so much for the super chat, man. I really appreciate it. Thanks for the Power Hour and your expertise. That's my pleasure. You know, I love to do this because it's just a good space for people to get stuff done, and myself included. And so I really appreciate that kind contribution. All right. Let's see. Still waiting for the numbers to come in. A couple things that are coming up for me, in case anyone's interested. I am speaking at the next Writer's Digest virtual conference. They're doing their first storytelling conference this year, and I'm speaking on how to create engaging characters. So I'm actually taking the YouTube videos that I referenced earlier and turning those into a talk. So if you're interested in that, that will be coming up on September 23rd. That's 2 Saturdays from now. I'll share it on my socials. You can sign up if you're interested in that. I'm also speaking at the Book Ninja Summit. That is a summit that's being put on by Crave Books. If you guys know Crave Books, that is going to be October 7th, Saturday as well. Which I think is the same day as the Power Hour. So, but it'll be in the afternoon. So the Power Hour will be in the morning, and then I'll be speaking in the afternoon. And we're going to be talking about book marketing. All right. So if you're interested in that, you can go to bookninjasummit.com, I believe is the URL there. So interesting stuff there. I had to see this. Okay. Now you're bragging. We Texans can't wait for 75-degree weather. But just keep in mind that here in Iowa, 73 degrees, it's going to be like that for 4 days. And then it's just going to drop into harsh winter. So, you know, if you want the -5-degree day, I can send them down to you guys. So, yeah. And then I'm doing another talk. I don't know if you guys know Written Word Media. They have a bunch of different author services that they provide. They're a great company. I'm speaking at their summit. I think the date is September 28th. And I'm doing my talk on Be a Writing Machine. So I know many of you have probably seen that before, but I'm going to talk about productivity and, you know, all that good stuff. So I'll share that on my socials once I've got that available as well. So yeah, I got a lot coming up. Things kind of drop off after we get to October-ish. So I'm kind of looking forward to a bit of a break, but then it feels like things always pick up around the beginning of the year. So, all right, let's see how everybody's doing. All right, Ty, 100 words and went to editing a chapter. I feel really good about finishing the final draft of the last book of my Dragon Keeper series and looking forward to starting a new book. Yeah, that's a great feeling, isn't it? Like you're wrapping. It's kind of a bittersweet. I don't know how you feel, but I always feel like it's bittersweet when I finish a series and I'm moving on to the next one. Like it's amazing because like I've got this series now that I can put on my shelf, you know, like it's like a series has heft to it. It really adds value to your portfolio, you know, but then it's like, oh man, I'm never going to write in this universe again. At least when I'm done with a series, I'm done with it. I don't go back. So congratulations. That's a good feeling. Okay. Let's see. Cut Weir 3. I've been outlining my relationship arcs. I have the theme, minor scenes, and turning points all figured out. Nice. Okay. Deborah, the end of the chapter. So you got to the end of the chapter. Good. And Jocelyn read over my draft. There are details I'm trying to ensure are consistent in the narrative. I don't want there to be any confusion about what's going on. Yeah, good, good. Okay. Deb says, try negative 20 or 30. I'm assuming for, okay. Okay, so negative 20 or 30 weather or negative 20, 30 word count? I want to make sure I'm clear. Negative 20, 30 is pretty awful, though. So if that's what you got up in Massachusetts, you can have it. All right. Bethany says, I kicked butt and took names, so to speak. Got a good bit written. Now I got to clean when I got my writing game on. Yeah, I had to clean my office. This place was a mess for like the past couple weeks. And so I took some time yesterday and cleaned it up. So I can relate. Okay. Akweli, and please, I'm sorry if I say your name wrong. This is my first time in a Power Hour. When is the next one? The next Power Hour is Saturday, October 7th at 10 a.m. Central Time. All right. That would be 11 o'clock a.m. Eastern and 8 o'clock a.m. Pacific. I know I did that way out of sequence, but I don't know where everybody's at. So Saturday, October 7th. Typically, we do these the first Saturday of the month. Some months we have to push it back to the second Saturday because of American holidays. But we're actually in a pretty good spot through the end of the year. So we will be the first Saturday in October, or first Saturday of the month through the new year. And then New Year's we'll have to do something different. And then we're usually pretty good up until July. So it's really just January and July. I think they're in September where you've got holidays. But other than that, first Saturday of the month, and we will be here. Okay. Deb says it's weather. Okay. Cool. Well, yeah, better to be weather than word count, right? Okay. Ty says, this is my first series and first books. I feel like starting out. I shouldn't have jumped into a series, but I did learn a lot. Oh, that's an interesting thought. I started with standalones, and it's kind of funny because I always thought I would have done better if I had jumped into a series. So it's kind of different perspectives, So yeah, you definitely learn a lot. Like your first series teaches you so much. Like it teaches you almost like everything what not to do sometimes, but that's okay too. All right. Deb says it's pretty cold when your nose hairs freeze when you breathe in. Yeah, definitely. All right. Ukweli says, thank you. This was wonderful. Yeah, I'm glad you're here. Yep. Thanks for coming, and look forward to seeing you next month if you can make it. All right. So I'm trying to think of some other things that I've got going on. I did just publish a new book. I don't have any graphics or anything. It's a book in my Indie Author Confidential series. It's a quarterly series that I write, just talking about the lessons that I've learned. And I have been doing it since 2020. And I just released volume 12. And I'm a little late in publishing volume 12. So over the next couple of days, I'll be publishing volume 13 as well. And I'm working on a super secret book that I still can't share yet, but I'm working on it with a co-author, and we're making really good progress. It's going to be a very, very comprehensive book, and I'm looking forward to being able to share that with you guys. Rod says, suggestions for affordable voice-to-text software until I can purchase Dragon Professional. Affordable voice-to-text software. Well, I hate to tell you this, but Dragon really is the best. You could use, I've seen some people use Otter. I haven't been that terribly impressed with what I've seen with it. And I don't know that you would really be saving a whole lot of money there. And then I've also seen some people use just like the built-in dictation with Microsoft Word. It's actually not that bad. It used to be, I don't know about this, but it's actually pretty good these days. Just give it a shot and try it. The only downside to it is that you have to be in front of your computer. All right. So if you don't mind that, and you can use it on your phone too, which is nice. Microsoft Word dictation. So, or you could try that. So you don't have to be, you don't have to use Dragon to be able to access the voice to text. But as far it depends on what you're trying to do. If you're dictating, meaning you're just sitting in front of the computer, speaking your words, watching them become text, then I think Microsoft Word's Dictate is probably the best option. If you are wanting to transcribe, that's where it starts getting difficult, right? So, you speak into a voice recorder and then, it turns your MP3s into text. That Microsoft Word's transcribe is really not there yet, unfortunately, because it doesn't recognize like paragraphing or certain punctuation marks, things like that. But if that's what you're trying to do, try that. And you let me know, Rod. What are your goals? What are you trying to accomplish? And then I can maybe give you a little bit more advice. Hey, Ukweli, thank you so much. I appreciate that. So thank you again for the super chat. You guys are really kind today. I'm glad you're here. Glad you enjoyed the Power Hour, and I really appreciate it. Okay. Ingrid says yes, phone too. Yeah. I think dictating on your phone is I think it's overlooked. And the reason I say that is because, your phone is in your pocket. Well, at least most people. Most people are usually within 18 inches of their phone these days. And so it's an opportunity. I mean, it's always in your pocket. You always have the opportunity to pull it out. And there are lots of like voice recorder softwares out there. I mean, on iPhone, it comes with voice memos. It's pretty decent. There are some other ones you can get. There are some pretty good free ones. There's some pretty good, very, very low cost paid ones, usually like under $5, where your phone can become a voice recorder. So it works really, really well, I think. So it's just dictating on your phone, I think, is an underrated gem. And Ingrid says, "Oh, I did a video 2 months ago about dictation." Yeah, I did, and it's pretty comprehensive. So I hope you enjoy it. If you have any questions, certainly let me know. Okay. And Deborah says, "I dictate on my phone all the time. I open up a Google Doc and press record, and it works pretty good." Yeah, Google's built-in dictation is also pretty good. It has many of the same limitations as Microsoft's. There are some things you just won't be able to do, and it's not so much Google, but it's also Microsoft and any dictation software really, other than Dragon, for the most part. And that is that proper nouns will always be a problem, no matter what you do. So if you've got a fantasy novel where you've got characters who have apostrophes and things in their names, or names that are very difficult to say, you're going to beat your head against the wall if you're using built-in dictation software. So the most suitable tip that I have learned, and it's kind of a pain, but it does work, which is to substitute that character's name for something common. So like I have a character in one of my books called Not Call. I'm not even gonna spell it because it's just kind of a weird name. I just say Natalie if I need to dictate. It just makes it so much easier. And then you can do a Control F, find all, find replace, replace all, and take care of it. But yeah. Ingrid says, "Would you suggest putting your dictation into a text edit?" Well, if text edit is what you use, then you could. I use Microsoft Word, and I'll tell you why I use Microsoft Word. It is a lot more firepower than text edit. I use Microsoft Word because Word, I think, is the best vehicle for editing dictated text. So my process is I have a voice recorder, and I usually I have a little microphone that I put on my collar when I'm walking my dog. And when I get back to my desk, I upload the voice recorder, have Dragon transcribe it into text, and then I bring that text into Microsoft Word. Now, this is a bit advanced, but I'll just say it very, very high level. Microsoft Word allows you to use Microsoft macros Microsoft Word macros, which if you do a little bit of digging into them and you learn a little bit about them, there are ways you can use macros to help you edit your text. And there are certain types of errors that you make on a regular basis through dictation. Well, there's certain types of errors that dictation makes. Not you don't make it. You say the right words, but the dictation software doesn't always hear you correctly. And there are certain things you can do to correct those errors at the source when you're doing that. And then also, Word supports Grammarly. It also supports Pro Writing Aid. And then there are just some other tools that I like to use in Word to clean up everything so that once I've got it there, it's kind of the final, like I don't have to worry about transporting my text into Scrivener and then getting it from Scrivener into Word, and then it goes to my editor. I just do it all in the same spot. That's why I've switched to Microsoft Word as my main editor. But you could use TextEdit if you wanted. The only downside to TextEdit is the formatting. I think it supports rich text, but yeah, you if you're using like italics or things like that, you'll just want to be cognizant of that. Okay. Next thing, the only thing I've always hated about the ones without text is the rewriting of your recording. Oh, yeah, with dictation. Yeah. Yeah, that's no fun. Okay. Ty asked, do you know if you will be doing another conference in Colorado? I'm glad you asked that, Ty. I will be. I will be in Colorado Springs, February 9th through 11th at the Superstars Writing Seminar. So I was there last year. I had such a good time. They invited me back. So I'm going to be there. I think it is the 9th through 11th. You can go to superstarswritingseminar.com, I think is the URL. It's run by Kevin J. Anderson. And it's a great conference, lots of professional writers. I think that it probably has the most professional writers out of any conference I've been to. And it's a really supportive community. And I'm teaching a workshop on the first day. I don't remember what it's about. I think it's about characters. I don't remember. And then I'll be there giving a couple of presentations throughout the conference. So if you're in town, I'd love to meet you. Love to meet anyone who is at these conferences. Please let me know. That's why I try to let you guys know where I'm going to be. So, but yeah, I think that all of you would get a lot of benefit from Superstars. It's a really good conference. So, okay. Ingrid, I don't know what you mean here. Got Microsoft Word. Yes. Got Windsock. Did you dictate that comment? I don't know. You tell me what you mean. All right. But yeah, so it's all good. You know, there's lots of interesting things going on in the community right now. I mean, in terms of AI and, although things have kind of I mean, I don't know how you guys feel about AI, and I'm not going to talk about it that much, but, things have gotten a little bit quieter around AI, but, I saw Amazon is now asking people to clarify or specify what level of AI you used to write your books. And I don't know where that's going to go. But if anyone's interested, Dale Roberts, my brother channel, he did another, I think he's done a couple videos on it, but he did a video on the AI changes on Amazon. I haven't had a chance to take a look at it, but he's out in front of these sorts of things. So if that's interesting to you, check out his most recent video. Oh, okay, Ingrid. Okay, you got a Windsock for your microphone. There we go. Okay. So you did not dictate that. I was just like, what is Windsock? Okay. Yeah, that works really well. I don't have my mic with me, but yeah, I mean it's really, really helpful, especially like in the winter, you know, at least where I live. I dictated, and I'll dictate in the snow. I don't care. I mean, I have to walk my dog, so no matter what, I'm always outside. So the Windsock, or we like to call them dead cats. Those work really well. Yeah, Ingrid says deletes wind noises when you dictate. It's the fluffy thing you put on top of your microphone. Yeah, yep, definitely. We call them the dead cat. And she said they cost very little. Absolutely, they do. I actually bought probably like a pack of 10 for like $5. It might not even been that much. They're extremely cheap. Okay, J.R. Damon, what do you think about the difference between ChatGPT 3.5 and Bing version 4 with real-time search? Well, interesting question. Um okay, where do I start? I I I will say I have not used Bing AI for a while. I was one. I got it really early when they came out with the preview, and you had to download the Edge developer version. Like I got it then, and then I played around with it for like a month, and then they rolled it out to the regular Microsoft Edge, and I started using it. I don't find myself using the ChatGPT engine in Bing all that often. And I don't know why. I just sometimes I forget it's there. And I think that's because you just can't use the same you can't use it in the same way that you would use ChatGPT, I guess. There's no plugins. It kind of interacts with the web page that you're on, but it doesn't really. At least that was my experience when I used it. So I can't really say too much about Bing version 4. Um, ChatGPT 3.5, I I don't know about. I've always had some reservations about 3.5. Um, the main reason is that I just still I still don't think that OpenAI is going down the right path with ChatGPT. Um, I have noticed that the results for ChatGPT have gotten worse over the past year, and they have especially gotten worse when they moved to GPT-4. I actually, I don't know if I've said this publicly. I'm really not a fan of GPT-4. I don't think that there's really that much of a difference between it and 3.5. I mean, there are some things it can do, but practically it's slower. The results really aren't as good, and I think the mistake that OpenAI is making, and I think when people go back and look at this moment, I think it's ultimately going to be seen as a mistake. They changed the way that they changed the way that the API works. So before, before ChatGPT, you could actually ask the API questions and you would get answers. But now they've changed it to where ChatGPT just thinks you're trying to chat all the time. Like every connection, every interaction you have with the GPT products, it wants to chat. But there are so many use cases where you just don't necessarily want to chat. You just want an answer. Anyway, that's super technical. I know I'm getting into the weeds here, but I think that they're making a mistake, and I think that they're seeing it bear out in the results. And I think a lot of people are not using ChatGPT as much anymore as they used to, just because they're just screwing it up. They forgot what made it so good, and they forgot what made the GPT model so good in the first place. ChatGPT, I think, blinded them, and they want everything to be like ChatGPT. And I think they're forgetting why people like this stuff in the first place, which is you can get answers, and yes, you can chat. That's great, but also it just provides convenience and usefulness. But I'm going to step off of my soapbox. Okay. That's the sound of me getting off my soapbox and getting super technical, because I know some of you don't care one iota about anything I just said. Okay. Okay. Ingrid says, you look like an NFL commentator. Yeah, you do, don't you? Although I get some strange stares from my neighbors. Like when I'm dictating, walking down the street, there's some neighbors I've never met, and I know that they're like, what is that guy doing? He's talking to himself, and he's got these wires coming down, and it's super weird. I love every minute of it. Okay, DCJ, would you ever consider doing an extra power hour, maybe once per quarter at a different time and on a different day? Yeah, I would consider it, DCJ. I just have to look at my schedule for next year. I am kind of reorganizing some things in my personal life, so I may have the ability to do that. Another thing I am doing is, if you're interested, it's not so much a power hour, but many of you guys know that I do a Ask Ally podcast where it's once a month. I podcast with the Alliance of Independent Authors, and I run their monthly member Q&A show where people can submit their questions and anything you want to know about self-publishing, so on and so forth. We are going to start doing that live. We already do it live, but we're going to start doing it on Saturdays, once per quarter, because ironic that you mentioned that. Once per quarter. And I'm going to see if I can actually stream, because we're using StreamYard. So I might be able to stream that to Author Level Up too. So it's not quite a power hour, but it would be an opportunity to ask more questions. But yeah, I need to do another beast mode DCJ. So when I do another beast mode, I usually do extra power hours with that. So I don't know when I'm going to do it just yet. It probably might be around the beginning of the year next year. All right. Ingrid says, do you use Notion ever? No, I use Notion once or twice, and I just, there's just some apps that like match your personality, and there's just some apps that just don't. And Notion just doesn't work with the way that I think. I find it a little too complicated, and I also have an issue with apps where there's just no structure. Like, you can make it whatever you want, which is, I think, one of the biggest selling points. But I get into Notion, and sometimes I just don't know. I just can't make heads or tails of like what I should be doing, and I guess I have an issue with that. And I know that there are people out there that sell like Notion templates. I think Thomas Frank has a couple that he's done and I've looked at for a while, but yeah, it's just not how my brain is wired. But a good app nonetheless. Okay, Ingrid says, gonna look. Yeah, I don't have anything on Notion. I'm sorry. Ingrid says Claude is also messed up now that they rolled out their Pro a couple days ago. Yeah. Claude is, for those who don't know, Claude is a ChatGPT alternative. It's created by Anthropic, and I like Claude. There are some use cases where Claude is better than ChatGPT, and sometimes. And so I've actually found myself using Claude just a little bit more than ChatGPT lately. The only thing that just really irritates me about Claude is that the moment you even start to suggest something violent or something like, mature content, it just shuts down. So like I was, for this novel, I was typing in something like, I don't remember what it was, but it was like, if you were going to hide evidence, from a police officer or something, how would you do it? And then it said, whoa, hold on a second. We don't suggest ever hiding evidence from police officers. Here's some suggestions on how to work with your local police. It's like, just stop that crap. I'm an author. I'm not a serial killer. I'm not trying to. And so Claude sometimes just goes off the rails there. Yeah, but I heard that they rolled out their Pro. Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that goes. Yeah, Ingrid says the AIs are starting to learn off previous AIs. Yeah, agree. JR says, I agree. ChatGPT has gotten worse since November, which is unfortunate, but I still prefer Bing for content and ideas. Yeah, that's interesting, JR. You've definitely, I use Edge these days as my main browser, just because I'm trying to get away from Chrome. So you got me inspired to maybe hit that Bing button a little bit more. Okay, a friend of mine who lives in Central Texas says their Android phone only spits out one response when he Googles a query. Yeah, it's kind of crazy. Yeah, it used to spit out 10. Yeah, JR says, I think it's getting worse because it's talking to us. Yeah, it's learning from us, idiot humans. Okay. All right. Yeah, Ally's good too. Yeah, they are. For sure. Yeah. And yes, for beast mode time. Yeah, I just need to do it. I didn't do beast mode this year just because I had a lot of things going on. So this was a crazy summer. So I guess wasn't able to do it. Deborah says, will you be giving away another half-hour consultation during beast mode? Oh, absolutely. I might do a couple this time around because I get a lot of people that ask me about that, and they say, hey, would you sit down with me one-on-one and work on some stuff. And I just, this past 2 years, I just have not had the ability to do that because I just don't think it would be of service. I'm not a coach. I know that there are some people out there that like to sell coaching packages and consultation packages, and that's cool. but that's just not what I do. And the main reason for that is because I just at my core fundamentally believe that nobody can change your writing career except you. There are people who can help you and guide you and give you advice. But if you're relying on somebody, in a one-on-one environment, that to me, sometimes that just sometimes it doesn't really do you any favors to have somebody that you're checking in with from a consultation perspective. And maybe it's just in my own inner crap that I'm dealing with, but I just don't I'm just not a coach. I don't want to be a guru. I just want to give advice to people, and if you can use it, cool. If you can't, cool. But if it helps you come to your own conclusions, that's awesome. But I don't pretend that I know everything, and I certainly don't pretend that I can guide you in the direction you need to be guided. I can just give you some advice and give you my opinion. But yeah. So yes, I will be doing that, and yeah, all fun. And yeah, Ingrid says Claude clutches his pearls a lot. Yes, he does. Ingrid says, you are a coach. And says, oh, thank you, Ingrid. I appreciate that. I just don't hold myself out that way. Just because I want to give information that helps people. I want to be of service and helpful, but I don't need to do coaching to do that. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. Yeah, it's been a while since I've used Ulysses. I have to go back. They might be a good opportunity to do some new videos. So I'm going to get some videos back. It's been a while since I've done some videos. It feels like every time I get back to a regular swing of videos, like something in my life happens that makes me have to step away from YouTube. So, but I do have some ideas for some videos that I want to do. But yeah, it'll be good stuff. JR says, you are scholarly. I think you would enjoy material from Terence McKenna. Oh, I love Terence McKenna, man. Absolutely love Terence McKenna. Been listening to him a lot lately, actually. So yeah, he's good stuff. Him and Alan Watts and God, there's a couple other folks that are good. But yeah, Terence McKenna is really, really interesting guy. Definitely a different cat. So I wonder if you saw that mushroom, that's what got you thinking about it on the third session. But yeah, Terence McKenna's fun stuff. And he's got like hours and hours of stuff on YouTube. So for those who don't know who Terence McKenna is, he's a guy that's into like magic mushrooms and really, really interesting guy. Like just like that's like, I always think Terence McKenna should have written novels. Like just his vocabulary. If you want to listen to like somebody that has like an amazing vocabulary and like just uses words just like, I don't know, like Ray Bradbury-esque, listen to Terence McKenna. The guy's great. So, okay. All right. Well, guys, reminder, next Power Hour is October 7th. Don't forget, we'll be there. And yeah, I will be sharing some future appearances on my channel. So if you're interested in any of the talks that I talked about, I will be sure to share those on my community tab. And yeah, I don't see any more questions. So thank you everybody who showed up today. And thank you everybody who did super chats. That was great. And yeah, hope you guys have a great weekend. Keep writing, carry on, and I'll talk to you next month.